Before we learn to speak, we learn to listen. Before we understand words, we understand rhythm. The heartbeat of our mother echoing through the walls of the womb. From our very first moment, music is not something we hear. It is something we feel. And yet many say we don't need music to live. Perhaps that's true. We don't need it to eat, or to breathe, or to survive another day. But we do need it to feel alive, to feel human. Good morning. My name is Carolina Casado, and I'm here today to prove to you that music is a human necessity. Music is the one thing that has always made me feel most alive. And it's not just me. Music keeps all of us alive, in the most human sense of the word. And so I feel the urge to speak about music, because the more I think about it, the more I realize we are underrating it, taking it for granted precisely because it's always there. It's so present, so constant, that we have stopped noticing its power. So let me show you one of its many powers by sharing Henry's story from the 2014 documentary Alive Inside. This is Henry. He was an elderly man living in a nursing home. He had been suffering from Alzheimer's for 10 years. Most of his days, he didn't speak, he didn't move, he seemed almost gone, as if he were locked away somewhere deep inside, hidden from the world. One day, a volunteer named Dan Cohen brought him a pair of headphones and an iPod. He placed the headphones on Henry and pressed play to a song he used to love. Suddenly, something extraordinary happened. Henry, who had been sitting still and silent for almost a decade, began to hum. Soon, he raised his head and started to move and sing along, almost dancing from his chair. His face lit up. After taking his headphones out, Henry did something even more amazing. He answered questions, at first related to the music, and all of a sudden, he was able to remember many details from his life. He remembered who he was. So now you can see Henry had been indeed surviving during those 10 years, but he didn't feel alive. His dementia had hidden that human spark we all possess within us. And music was the key that enabled him to reconnect with his spark, with himself. Music had brought him back. So if music had the power to bring Henry back, what does it do to you and me right now in our everyday lives? Because if you think about it, we're surrounded by music every single day in millions of different situations. From the moment we wake up to that damned alarm clock to the moment we sing in the shower after a long, hard day. It's always there. But why? What does it actually do to us? Well, according to Daniel Levitin in his book, This Is Your Brain on Music, listening to music is not a passive experience. Neurologically speaking, it's incredibly active. It lights up multiple parts of our brain, like the amygdala and the hypothalamus, which are related to emotion and memory. This is why some songs seem to transport us to certain moments linked to emotions we hold deep within us, like in Henry's case. It is literally like a dopamine shot, one of our feel-good hormones, related to joy, motivation, and a sense of reward, to that rush you feel inside when your favorite song comes on the radio and you just can't resist singing along. Music also generates flow states, where we lose notion of time and space, keeping us engaged in a particular task, such as dancing, exercising, or even studying. Finally, it reduces our levels of cortisol, our stress hormone. This is why lullabies can calm babies, and why it's used in therapy and meditation. Now, it's time to ask ourselves, since when has music reached us in such ways? The answer is, since always. The style of music may vary from culture to culture, yet one thing remains constant. Every single human culture has had and will have music. Where there are humans, there will be music. And not only this, to top it off, we make it sacred, becoming part of our rituals. I'm sure you remember the song that played on your wedding day. In fact, long before we had written language, before books and libraries existed, music was our memory tool. It was how wisdom passed from one generation to the next. Even now, with all our new fancy ways of storing information, music remains our emotional archive. That is, our human archive. Have you ever wondered why you know 1,000 song lyrics by heart, but you just can't remember that one chemistry formula? That's what I mean. Because music doesn't just store facts. It can hold a memory, a moment, a feeling much more clearly than any photograph or text ever will. Music also connects us not only to ourselves, but to each other. Think of the last concert you attended. That moment when that special song starts playing and you look around. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people, all of you singing, dancing, moved by the same rhythm, the same melody. Each of you is tied to different memories. But in that moment, that same song brings you all together as one. What else has the power to unite complete strangers so instantly? We've seen that same power in protests. Songs become the heartbeat of movements. They keep people together. They give courage when fear takes over. Because sometimes they don't just express revolution, sometimes they create it. So music gives us something we all need as human beings: community. And community is one of the most deeply human things we possess. We're wired for it. We need it. And music helps us find it. So when we say music is just entertainment, we're missing the point. Music shapes us, heals us, and makes us find and understand ourselves. And this is why it isn't just a part of our lives. It is something more powerful. It is a human necessity. So let me leave you with a question. If music makes us feel, connect, and remember like nothing else, why do we still treat it as background noise instead of what it truly is, a human necessity? Thank you.